I just saved hundreds of dollars by switching to Geico. I feel like I'm on top of the world.
Disclaimer, you will not be transported to the top of the world. In the unlikely event you find yourself at the Arctic Circle, seek shelter from the elements immediately to avoid frostbite and or hypothermia. Geico will not be responsible if you find yourself in a cave or crevasse with a lonely abominable snowman, who in all likelihood will force you to play games including but not limited to Go Fish, charades, Chinese checkers, or his personal favorite, Red Rover, send Yeti on over. Geico is not liable for any damages, either physical or emotional.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
You got to feel good on a Friday morning. Glad you are with us. Hope your day is off to a good start and getting to a good start and getting to a warm start.
Hope you, wherever you got a lot of snow, and we did here, hope you dug yourself out. I spent a lot of time.
Or had someone dig yourself out.
Yeah. You didn't do any digging out?
Come on.
Do you have a back deck?
Yeah.
Just shovel that?
Yeah, that's not digging out. That's just back deck. Just get that off. That's no problem.
Okay.
I mean, like,
you have
digging
a walkway that you had to
I'll do the walkway this afternoon.
Okay.
I'll do the walkway this afternoon. But you don't do the driveway, do you?
I do.
You shovel the driveway?
No, I have a snowblower.
You snowblow the driveway.
And then I have a walkway, and then the back deck the wife and I did as well. Yeah. The 3 dogs, man. You got to give them some area.
No, we got tiny dogs. Your dogs could have gotten lost in the snowstorm.
I not only did the snowblower on the walkway, I went into the grass with the snowblower.
Okay.
To give them an area in like the grass to be able to go.
Look at you.
Yeah.
Good for you. Our dogs are labs. They're big. Just go find
They can just hop out there.
Your little pugs would
My guys need some air.
Submariners.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Need some
They'd
issues.
be tunneling.
Where's the pug? We lost him.
Lost him.
He's somewhere in the front yard. We can't find him.
We'll see some snow move. That'll be him.
It'll pop up like a little prairie dog. Yeah. Golic and Wingo on ESPN Radio and ESPN2. Presented by Progressive Insurance. All phone guests join us via the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. We're about to do our deep dive.
Yes, we are.
Into Wild Card Weekend. But first, we have done a deeper dive into the thing that has been bothering us all morning long. The Bills, as they said they would in a great gesture, sent a ton of wings to the Cincinnati Bengals because it was the touchdown pass from Andy Dalton to Tyler Boyd that put the Bengals over the Ravens, which allowed the Bills to go into the postseason for the first time. And the Buffalo Bills tweeted this out this morning. Our friends at Duff's are hitting the road to Cincinnati tonight with 1,440 wings, 90 pounds of celery, 30 pounds of carrots, 6 gallons of blue cheese, 9 gallons of Duff's wing sauce, and a ton of thank yous from Buffalo.
Very cool.
Very cool, very
nice.
Great. First of all, they're driving. It's 6 hours.
It's over a 6-hour drive.
430-plus miles from Buffalo to Cincinnati. So they're committed there. But we wanted to know, and we were trying to figure out, how did they arrive at 1,440 wings?
Right.
That was the thing that we couldn't get to. We called the Bills. They said there was no reason for that number. It is a dozen is what it is. Right? Isn't that what it is? 120 dozen.
120 dozen.
But then we went to the menu of Duff's where you can buy wings, and you can buy 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100, 250, 500, or 1,000.
You can buy 1,000 wings.
1,000 wings.
So why not just order 1,000 wings
or
for some reason?
2,000 wings.
Or order 1,000 wings and 500 wings for 1,500 wings.
Yeah.
It's 1,440 wings.
It seems like an odd place to stop.
There has to be a reason. And again, we called the Bills and they said there was no reason. There has to be a reason you said 1,440 wings, or did you just say 120 dozen? If so, why?
Yeah, it just seems like an odd number to me. It just seems like an odd burden to land on, a number. Now, a gross refers to a group of 144 items, a dozen, or a square dozen. A great gross is a 728. A small gross refers to a group of 120 items, 10 dozen. So we want to know. We want to know how they got to that number. We're not saying it's a bad number.
No.
We're just curious as to how you stuck the landing on 1,440.
Normally when you order something, you have to specifically order it, correct?
You have to specify what the amount is.
Why did they specify 1,440?
By the way, I think Buffalo fans and the Bills are like, we don't care.
Yeah.
We just care.
But we care. Somebody had to place that order.
Yeah, someone had to say, let's go with that number, 1,440.
And I want to know.
And
I want to know if there's meaning.
It has to happen.
Has to.
There has to be some sort of intrinsic value to that number.
Yeah.
So we'll try and figure that out. But
Buffalo, the Bills, we're going to call you again.
Yeah.
Make something up.
Yeah, just pretend.
Just pretend there's a good reason for it, that we can stop doing this.
I went with maybe Jim Kelly's number was 12 and they times whatever.
That's the thing. We start thinking way too much
and
about
we don't want to think on this show. We want someone to do the thinking for us.
And by the way, we want you to answer something for us as well. We have on, because of the wings, we have at Golic and Wingo on our Twitter page a question for you. Would you rather, with your wings, have ranch, blue cheese, or nothing? Right now, ranch is winning. I'm blue cheese, but I can do ranch. I don't care. But if you give me my choices, blue cheese, your choice is nothing.
Just give me the wings, baby.
And ranch is winning right now. So keep those votes coming in. That's surprising to me. But, hey, it's what everybody likes.
And listen, we've got a lot of reactions to that already on what your sauce choice is or your dipping sauce choice is on Twitter. So hit us up at Golic and Wingo. Keep those coming. We'll have those for you later. By the way, we've also tried to call Duff's, the wings place.
Yep.
They did not answer. Granted, I don't think there's a real
I was going to say it's not open.
Breakfast run at 8:05.
Yeah, I
don't. The breakfast wings special. I don't think we had that.
Yeah,
you think they're ducking us?
They're ducking us.
Stanzik thinks they're ducking us,
or they open at 11 Eastern.
Yeah, so get
which is 3 hours away.
It's probably they probably have more snow at Buffalo than we're all talking about
exactly.
here. Okay, lots to get to. You want to do some things that are trending?
Let's.
All right, not LeBron, not Steph, not Westbrook, but Giannis Antetokounmpo is the leader, the early clubhouse leader in the NBA All-Star voting.
Only 3 players with over 800,000 votes. Antetokounmpo has over 863,000, LeBron over 856,000, and Kyrie Irving has like 802,000. The only 3 right now. Those are the 3 leading vote getters. Other that are up there, obviously Kevin Durant is there. Steph Curry is up there as well in the 700,000 range. They're the only 2 there. Then you get to the 600,000 range. That's going to be James Harden. But the normal are at the top. And then you add in Antetokounmpo, who is, man, he is fast becoming that freakish. We know he's the freakish athlete, but that superstar player as well, which really gets me interested in where can Milwaukee go, and will Milwaukee be a destination point for some players to improve that team, or will Antetokounmpo end up somewhere else?
Yeah, absolutely. But he is so much fun to watch right now, and just the things he's able to do.
Yeah.
I mean, it sort of started last year. He's still, only 20 years old or 21 years old? He's so ridiculously young that the idea that we may not have seen the best from him yet is kind of frightening.
It's crazy.
When you look at his wingspan more than anything else. So that's the leader right now in the early voting for the NBA All-Star Game. And again, it's going to be a secret draft. They're going to draft players so people's feelings won't get hurt like mine always were when I was the last guy taken.
I think it's that, and maybe if the draft is heavy in one position rather than maybe they'll even it out so nobody really has to know.
I think they're just protecting people's feelings.
Let's just go with our story. It's a lot better.
I'm for it because my feelings were trampled on all the time.
All the time, huh?
All right, let's continue. So this is sort of become an interesting little sidebar. The Celtics are going to retire Paul Pierce's jersey on February 11th.
Right.
That's the same night that Isaiah Thomas comes back with the Cavs, when we believe he'll be starting at that time.
Right.
They were there this week, and Isaiah didn't play. He had just come off the bench the previous night in their win. I think it was over Portland.
Yes, over Portland.
And because he was coming back from that hip surgery, so they didn't do anything. They put him up on the screen at the Jumbotron, and people waved, and they appreciated all his years in Boston. But for some reason, this isn't sitting well with the truth. Paul Pierce on the jump talking about the idea that his jersey is going to be retired, and the same night they plan a video tribute to Isaiah Thomas.
It's like everybody's getting a tribute video now. It's like if you play for a team, you get traded.
Clipper Darrell might get one next.
You get a tribute video. Now, I'm not saying Isaiah shouldn't get a tribute video.
Clipper Darrell might get one.
Clipper Darrell leaves the Clippers as a fan. He should get one. But, listen, on February 11th, night I get my jersey retirement, I'm not sure I want to look up at the Jumbotron to see Isaiah highlights.
Bro,
after all the years I put in.
You don't need to share that with nobody.
I had a chance to watch Kobe's, and throughout the games, the timeouts, it was a lot of tribute videos for him, and I enjoyed to watch that throughout the game. Now, hopefully, the Boston Celtics will do that for me. I'm not sure if I want to see an Isaiah video that night.
Issues?
Well, what's interesting is was it 6 or 7 hours ago? We should find that tweet. Didn't Paul Pierce tweet like 6 or 7 hours ago that I can't believe, is there really going to be a story made of this? Well,
you kind of made it the story.
Hear what you just said?
Right.
I mean, you kind of did that.
The word thought bubble is still out there in the air. And then you put on this tweet.
He tweeted 10:58 last night. Is this really a topic? Well, Paul, you seem to go into quite a bit of detail when answering this.
So let's back it up. To be clear, they have a discussion on the jump about Isaiah Thomas's video tribute the same night as Paul Pierce. Paul Pierce says, why does this have to be on my night?
Yeah.
I really don't want to be looking up at Isaiah Thomas highlights on the night they retire my jersey. Paul speaks on it. People react to it. Paul Pierce reacts to people reacting to it by saying, why is this a story? Because you chose to talk about it.
You did, Paul. I mean,
we love you.
If you had said, hey, that doesn't matter. If they want to show the video before the game of IT and then retire my jersey, no big deal, then it's not a topic.
Yeah.
Or if you say, hey, you know what? There's 41 home games. I'll do it another night. It's the last time Isaiah's going to be there. But you know, Steven Jackson was the instigator.
He was the hype man.
There was way more to that segment there, and he was definitely the hype guy there.
And if you know Steven at all, that seems exactly how he would be, right?
Because they were.
Let's ramp it up a notch.
Yeah, you get a tribute video. You get a tribute video. Like, everybody gets a tribute video.
It's like the Oprah thing. You get a car. You get a car.
Right.
Everybody gets a video tribute. So we'll see what happens. We'll see how it all plays out. Speaking of the Celtics, who will be in the zone tonight as the Timberwolves take on the Celts at 7 p.m. on ESPN? Will it be Kyrie, coming off just 11 points in the win over the Cavs? What about Jason Tatum? Boy, how good has he been?
Man,
and how about Karl Anthony Towns or Jimmy Butler?
Right.
So let us know. In the Zone, brought to you by AutoZone. Get in the zone, AutoZone. And we finish up what's trending with problems in Oregon with pumping gas.
Yeah, people, some parts of Oregon now have to pump their own gas. It was a state where the gas was pumped for you. Like, that's what I found out when I played for the Eagles and lived in New Jersey. New Jersey, they pumped the gas for you. I was stunned when I first got out of to pump the gas in Jersey, and someone was like, no. You know, we do it, you don't. So people in Oregon, for the first time in their lives, some of them had to pump their own gas, and they struggled. There was multiple that pulled away with the nozzle still in the gas tank.
Guilty,
something
done that.
You have done before.
Done that.
Having trouble getting the nozzle in the gas tank, which seems somewhat interesting to me.
That part, I think, I would have a difficult time
But
with.
all kind of issues pumping their own gas. Hopefully they'll get used to it soon enough in the areas where they have to do that.
Yeah. Look, I was distracted, pulled away. One of my buddies that works at another network just texted me, said, don't feel bad, Trey. I've done that once before in Baltimore when I was in on a hurry. We had a tweet guy come in and says it's more common than you think about pulling away with the pump still in the tank, but not being able to find where the gas pump goes.
Yeah.
That one I'm having a hard time with.
I would think if you put a millennial, hate to do this to millennials, and give them a car and said, put some gas in the car, and it was one of the cars where the gas cap and was behind
the old back license plate.
The license plate actually folded down. How long would it take them to figure it out? Yeah. How long would it? Here's the car. Go put gas in it. They're looking on both sides. Can't see it. Where am I putting the gas? So how long would it take them to figure that one out?
They'd basically be reenacting that's the original scene from the original National Lampoon Vacation, where Chevy Chase as Clark W. Griswold has the family truckster there, and there are about 80 different places where he thinks it could be, and he cannot find where to put in the gas.
Where's the gas go?
So that's the struggle, and the struggle is real for some people in Oregon, and we wish you all the best as you try and figure out how to pump your gas and where to actually put the gas pump
That's
in.
fantastic.
Okay, so that's what's going on in Oregon. It is a huge weekend in the NFL. The playoffs are here, wild card weekend. We got 2 games Saturday, 2 games on Sunday. You ready to break it down?
Let's do it.
Let's do it with the 5-point stance.
This is 5-Point Stance on Golic and Wingo.
All right, we'll start with the first game of the weekend, which will be on ESPN and simulcast on ABC. The Titans will be in Kansas City taking on the Chiefs. And if you're looking for a key to this game, how about explosive plays? The Titans have allowed 40 explosive plays this season, fewest in the NFL, and the Chiefs' average touchdown from scrimmage was 27 yards, the most by any team in the last 10 seasons.
Yeah, listen, the explosive plays you're looking for. The Titans were a team this year I thought would actually win the division, and obviously that went to Jacksonville. We saw Mariota regress a bit, from that draft class. He and Jameis Winston both regress a bit. They're going to play this game without DeMarco Murray. The two-headed monster of DeMarco Murray and Derrick Henry, I think, has been really, really good for them. So I think that does hurt them a little bit. But they do allow those, it's the fewest, as we said, in the NFL. And the Chiefs, early in the season, we saw how many home run hits they had, especially out of Kareem Hunt. But Alex Smith
Tyreek Hill
firing the ball down the field a little bit. They've always had that. But then all of a sudden, it seemed like Kareem Hunt was not touching the ball as much as he was early in the season, that Alex Smith was kind of reverting back to that more the side throws than down the field throws. So I don't know where to go with them. You know, they've lost an NFL record 5 consecutive home playoff games, have the Chiefs. Which team are you going to see? You know, what kind of defense are you going to see? I thought the Titans defense was going to take that a step forward this year as well. You know, you have the pass rushers on that Kansas City defense. I think DeMarco Murray misses that, but because I think with Mariota struggling, you want to control the ball, running the ball, and you're losing a big one in DeMarco Murray for that.
Again, so the running game will basically be Derrick Henry and Marcus Mariota, who's a really good runner at the quarterback position, who looks like he's healthy. By the way, the other thing there, Derrick Henry called his own number soft last week. He said, I had 28 carries for 51 yards. Yep. That wasn't good enough. I need to be better. But you're right, there is no such thing as home field advantage when it comes to the Chiefs. 5 straight, as you said, home playoff losses. The last time they won a home playoff game, their quarterback was Joe Montana.
Wow, really?
1993. Joe Montana was the last starting quarterback to win a home game for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Find a way. The whole idea, especially it's been with Alex Smith, who used that kind of that swear word term of managing the game.
He's not that anymore.
No, I agree with that, but still, he get the ball in the hands of Tyreek Hill, of Travis Kelce, of Kareem Hunt. That's what you need to do, whether it's downfield on deep throws or in space to let them create their own thing. I think we've seen 2 Kansas City teams this year, so which one shows up this weekend?
Well, let's hope it's the one that started 5-0 or the one that finished, I think, 3-4, and not the one in between, because that team's not going to win you a playoff game, and they've seen far too many of those home playoff flameouts already in Kansas City. Golic and Wingo with you here on your Friday morning, getting you through the 5-point stance. Talk about the Rams now. The Rams enter the 2017 postseason and the NFL's top scoring team, a distinction the Falcons held in the 2016 postseason. And 3 of the last 4 scoring champs reached the Super Bowl, and each of the last 5 at least made it to their respective conference championship game.
Listen, what this team has done, the turnaround it's done, and a lot of it has to go with, you talk about different levels, college, pro, of what coaching means. And you just have to be honest. What has coaching meant to this team with a 31-year-old coach and the assistants that he has brought in and the atmosphere that he wants? Sean McVay has been incredible especially for a guy in Jared Goff, who after 0-7 last year, people wanted to throw him on the junk heap already. He was unbelievable. But what a turnaround. A couple of additions on the offensive line. Todd Gurley getting involved in the way that you wanted him to, over 1,300 yards rushing, catching the ball, 64 receptions, I think is a monster thing that has to happen with running backs in the game right now. And then a defense, I'm looking forward to this pass rush. Both these defenses, they're not overly large, and they rely on that quickness, especially that Atlanta defense. So Atlanta getting after Goff, and that defensive line for the Rams getting after Matt Ryan, because neither one of these quarterbacks is that unbelievable athlete that's going to escape and just burn you running down the field.
Right.
These guys are going to want to be more in the pocket, and they're going to look, even if they get outside the pocket, to try and make a play downfield. And both teams have good pass rushing ability, especially the team that has the best D lineman in the game in Aaron Donald.
I'm glad you said that, because I don't think there's any player that's head and shoulders above everyone else at his position better than Aaron Donald is at his position in the NFL. And the front line of that Falcons offensive line is a little banged up, and that was a big reason why they made it to the Super Bowl a year ago. If Donald and Brockers on the inside can get going, and then you got Quinn and Connor Barwin on the outside, that defensive line for the Rams could indeed take over. And we talk a lot about the Bills and their playoff drought. The Rams last made the playoffs in 2004. They had the third longest playoff drought going into this season, so they have gotten that turned around as we continue with our 5-point stance. The Falcons are back in the playoffs after losing Super Bowl 51, 28-3. The last team to reach the Super Bowl the year after losing it was the Bills in 1993, part of their 4 straight years where they went to the Super Bowl and lost all 4 times.
Listen, we thought this was going to be a team that was going to fit that mold of losing the Super Bowl and then not make it to the playoffs, even though as of late that has been less and less the case. But they were not playing well. The offense still, you wonder what's going on. Again, they lose Kyle Shanahan as their offensive coordinator, head coach out in San Francisco. With Steve Sarkisian now running the show there, it just hasn't looked the same with the same players. That's the odd thing to me. So where are you putting it? Now I know Julio Jones and Sanu have been nicked up a little bit. Does this go more on Matt Ryan? Is it a Matt Ryan Sarkisian the relationship? Is it Matt Ryan's play going back from regressing a bit from MVP MVP was the MVP last year? I don't know. I think it's a great question because you got the two-headed running attack, even though they've gone through being nicked up a little bit this year between Coleman and Freeman. I've been surprised at the offense, the lackluster performance for most of the year compared to last year.
Yeah.
And I look at this defense. This defense
That's
is
the reason they're in the playoffs, the defense.
Yeah. This defense, the speed of their defense. But I look at this offense attacking the Rams. Quite honestly, I think they're going to have more success. You say you have Julio Jones and Sanu. I think they could have more success running the ball. I think the Rams can get run on, getting passed on with that pass rush that they have. Is you're going to get, I think, quicker pressure on Ryan. So I'll be interested to see the routes that are used. If you're getting the quicker pressure, how much shorter the routes, and if those secondary guys are going to jump those routes if the ball has to come out quicker. That's what a 4-man quick pressure D-line rush gets you. It gets you the ball coming out quicker, and it gets your secondary with the ability to take some chances.
Well, look, not only is it impossible to get back to the Super Bowl after losing, we talked about that. It's been since the Bills in 1993. Only twice in the Super Bowl era has a team lost the Super Bowl the previous year and went on to win it the next year. In Super Bowl V, the Cowboys lost to the Colts 16-13. Chuck Howley, the MVP in that game, the only losing MVP in Super Bowl history.
Here you go again.
And then went on to win Super Bowl VI. They beat the Miami Dolphins in Super Bowl VI. The Dolphins then went on to win Super Bowl VII and Super Bowl VIII. So it's only happened twice, and it happened in back-to-back Super Bowls, Super Bowls V and VI, and we're on Super Bowl 52. It is the most impossible thing to do in football in the Super Bowl era. Lose the Super Bowl the next year, come back in, win it the next. All right, when we continue, we will finish up our 5-point stance. Plus, I've been on the job a month and a half, and Stugotz is already plotting for my demise. How unusual and how unlike him. We'll explain next on Golic and Wingo. Little Darius Rucker to get you going on this Friday morning on Golic and Wingo, ESPN Radio and ESPN2, presented by Progressive Insurance. All phone guests will join us via the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line, and we've been talking a lot about the snow and wind and rain and just the massive amounts of accumulation and some flooding in the Boston area and Long Island, which has been really bad that we've gotten up here. But this storm is so big it actually affected South Carolina, where our friend Darius is. And you were actually giving him grief yesterday.
Yeah, I was. He was showing his front yard with all kinds of snow, and I asked him if he got the shovel out. He said, that's why I got kids.
That's exactly right.
That's a good point. It's a very fair point.
Although I don't think as he was thinking about having the children, that snow shoveling was going through his mind.
That was going to be part of the process there,
those thoughts are separate?
That's always an interesting thing, that when towns or places that don't usually get snow and just how they react to it. Like in Atlanta for the Super Bowl, for the freeze and the snow that went on.
Super Bowl 36.
For Dallas with the
34,
snow. Dallas with the snow that went on there in the Super Bowl. I mean,
that was the worst.
Holy smokes, and just areas that just don't know how to react to it.
And the worst part about that when Super Bowl 45 is, I went to school in Texas. You would get a couple of snowstorms every year, but they never think that it's going to happen.
Right.
Like they never have trucks and salt spreaders and all that kind of stuff. And I remember when we were actually in Fort Worth, because our setup was at Sundance Square in Fort Worth, because it was a North Texas, air quotes, Super Bowl that year. And there was one story that led the morning news. The salt spreaders and plows have arrived. It was 5. 5.
They were a little undermanned for what went on.
For people that don't know, Dallas-Fort Worth is a really square mileage, huge
it's a large area.
There's like 30 miles between Dallas and Fort Worth.
5 trucks wasn't doing it.
It wasn't going to cut it. So we were like, hey, look at the cavalry, and congratulations, that'll solve 0.1% of the problem.
I'm sure the driving where Darius was, everybody was driving really well there.
Yeah,
at a mile an hour.
Well, we would sometimes drive like from Waco up to Dallas, and you would just pass a million people just stranded.
Yeah.
Just sitting in their cars, like in the median, like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Help me. Where's the cavalry?
Not used to that
Come
stuff.
save us. So it's always interesting. But that's Super Bowl 45 in Fort Worth and Dallas. Whew, that was a cold, chilly experience.
Yes, it was.
Okay, but that was part of the playoffs, the end of the playoffs, the Super Bowl. We're getting the playoffs started. Wild card weekend here in the NFL. We started our 5-point stance in the last segment, and let's continue our 5-point stance right now. Talking about Tyrod Taylor and the Blake Bortles. These two quarterbacks making their first career playoff starts on Sunday. Since 2013, quarterbacks making their playoff debuts are 1-10, and the only quarterback to win was Brock Osweiler last year.
How about that?
And he faced another quarterback in his debut in Connor Cook.
Yeah. This matchup, I guess for either one, in either team, neither team is really want to rely on their quarterback to win it, though Buffalo may get put in that situation if Shady McCoy can't play.
Right.
Or is not less than 100%. And with Tyrod Taylor, then it's going to be even more than passing. It's going to be him running the ball as well. He's a guy that didn't throw for a lot of touchdowns, but also he didn't throw a lot. Didn't throw a lot of interceptions. 14 touchdowns, just 4 interceptions, so he didn't turn the ball over. Still inexplicably benched at one point in the season, which is one of the more bizarre moves there was this year.
Well, not only that, but that move almost cost them the playoffs. It was the game against the Chargers where Nathan Peterman threw 5 interceptions in the first half. Now, I get it. Some of those were deflected balls, but also times where he was under duress and they were facing Joey Bosa and Melvin Ingram, maybe the best duo of pass rushers in the NFL. So why would you not want Tyrod Taylor, your most mobile quarterback in that game? And had all of those teams finished with the same record, there was a situation where that one game might have cost the Bills the playoffs because of the loss to the LA Chargers.
Yeah, I mean that was an interesting move there to say the least. And for Jacksonville, listen, can you trust Blake Bortles?
Well,
Blake Bortles had
the question.
3 weeks. He had 3 really good games. He finished off the season not too well for the season, 60%, 21 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. Do you trust him to win the game? You don't want to have to. It's what we've talked about all year. Jacksonville wants to win with defense in the running game, but you never know. Here it's win and go home, or win or go home, I should say. So it may get put on his shoulder, some of this, and how does he come through?
Well, that's the thing. Weeks 13, 14, and 15 of this year, Blake Bortles did something he had never done in his entire NFL career. 3 straight games, multiple touchdown passes in each, 0 interceptions in each. So you're thinking, hey, maybe he's got it. And then the last 2 weeks, multiple interceptions in both of those games, which really was a struggle. By the way, continuing that point about the stats and Tyrod Taylor and Blake Bortles making their debuts, quarterbacks may not be the only thing to tell us because the Bills and Jags are the 2 NFL's most run-heavy teams. The Bills had 487 runs against 476 passes. The Jags had 527 runs and 527 passes on the dime. You want balance?
Yeah.
The Jaguars found a way to have balance.
The problem for, I think, Buffalo here is their run defense. Their run defense is 29th in the league. And Jacksonville runs the ball really well.
And the interesting thing there is, what did they do before the trade deadline? They traded away their run stuffer, Marcel Darius. Where did they trade him to? Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Jacksonville was dead last against the run when they made that trade, and I think over the rest of the season they managed to get it up to 7th best against the run. Maybe you want to keep Marcel Darius around.
2 inexperienced playoff quarterbacks, 2 inexperienced playoff teams. Yep. Jacksonville, to me, is just the better team.
That front 7, and then A.J. Boye and Jalen Ramsey on the outside. By the way, those were the only 2 teams that either ran it as much or as more than they passed it. Every other team in the NFL passed it more than they ran it in 2017. And we finish up 5-point stand with the Saints going for a 3-game sweep of Carolina. Since the AFL-NFL merger of 1970, there have been 20 instances of a team going 2-0 in the regular season and then meeting a third time. 13 times they completed that 3-game sweep.
So, the odds are in their favor to do that. They are, favored, I think, by like 6.5. I don't know what the latest line. They got the early lines here. I don't know what the latest ones are, but they're favored in this one. And again, we say this about New Orleans. The last time they had a rushing attack like this, they won the Super Bowl. I mean, it couldn't have come at a better time. Take the pressure off of Drew Brees. He still has great receivers. Michael Thomas has been unbelievable.
He's been phenomenal
for him. And the defense, that's been the biggest turnaround. The two biggest surprises is, one, you didn't know about because he's a rookie, and that's Kamara. You had no idea. You knew he was a versatile back, but you had no idea he was going to take the league by storm the way he did, and then paired with Mark Ingram, how good it was going to be. But the more surprising thing is their defense has flat out stunk over the last few years, and now it is a really good defense. The way they're playing on all their levels, and it's rookies who are helping there. Lattimore in the secondary, a rookie for them, Kamara, a rookie in the backfield for them, and how well both of those guys are playing.
Well, the one thing that you have to do if you have a quarterback like Drew Brees that you are paying $1 gazillion or $30 million a year, you have to absolutely nail it when it comes to free agency, and you have to nail it in the draft. And one thing that they've done this year with their draft has been unbelievable. Our great researcher, Evan Kaplan, who works a lot with us on NFL Live and Sunday NFL Countdown, put out a great tweet, and I'm trying to find it right now. But basically, they hit on every single one of their top 4 draft picks this past season. Everything that they did was right. They have a couple of Pro Bowlers in Kamara.
They have Lattimore was taken in the first round.
Ramczyk played every snap this year.
He was playing some left tackle, then he's over at right tackle. Then Marcus Williams is safety,
and I think he started for 15 games.
And then Kamara was in the third round. 2 first rounders, a second rounder, and a third rounder. They're top 4 picks.
Yeah, so they absolutely nailed it in terms of their draft picks. By the way, the last team to go 3-0 against a team in the same regular season and postseason was the Cowboys. They did it. They did it in 2009. They swept the regular season series and won the playoff game in Dallas. So the phrase "it's hard to beat a team 3 times in a season" really isn't true. It's happened twice as often as the alternative.
What do you think about this one, though? I mean, with I just been a little consistent with them. Their defense, so I love their defense. Carolina's defense. I know they've understand they've lost twice to New Orleans, but they still have studs on that defense, especially Kuechly in the middle, Short on the defensive line. And man, what if you get a game out of Cam? I mean,
that's been the issue.
I know.
He has really struggled with his accuracy. You look at the season-ending loss against the Falcons. He was all over the map in that game. And look, we know Cam is going to make plays with his legs, but when he was the MVP Cam Newton, he was making the throws he needed to. And he has really struggled on third down. Even his MVP year, I think he was right around 50% on third down completion percentage. Last year, he was below 50% on third down completion percentage, or it was the other way around. But either way, the last 2 years, really poor for him on third down.
And how impressive, though, for the rookies. Kamara, we talked about him from a receiving standpoint, 81 receptions as a rookie in the league. Christian McCaffrey, 80 receptions for Carolina as a rookie in the league. Pretty impressive what these guys are doing.
No question. And Kamara's a cephalopod, as we've said. He's a bag of jelly. You can't tackle him. He's so slippery. He's impossible. We'll see if the Saints can, again, pull off the triple dip as they take on Carolina this weekend. All right, coming up, we're not even 2 months into the job, and someone is out there angling to get in here. We'll talk about that next. Golic and Wingo, ESPN Radio, ESPN2.
Golic and Wingo reminding you to check out the Stephen A. Smith Show. Hear what he's fired up about weekdays from 1 to 3 Eastern on ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, Sirius XM, and TuneIn Radio. And catch up with Stephen A. Smith Show's podcast on demand on the ESPN app and TuneIn.
Golic and Wingo rolling on with you on a Friday as we're getting you set for a big 3-day weekend of football. We got the wild card playoffs in the NFL Saturday and Sunday, and of course the national championship game, which we will be at in college football in Atlanta between Alabama and Georgia. Just don't tell anything of that to the University of Central Florida,
who will have enjoyed their parade on Sunday.
Correct.
Right?
And by the way, a guest coming up the next hour, Gus Malzahn, Auburn head coach, will join us, having played all 3 teams that think they have a legitimate chance to win the national championship.
Gus is going to decide who the national champion is.
He is the decider.
Yes, he is.
As President Bush once said, I'm the decider. No, Gus Malzahn,
yes, he is.
The Auburn head coach, is the decider. We'll have Andre Reed as well coming up in just a bit. But we are presented by 1-800-Flowers.com. Bring in the new year with gorgeous bouquets from 1-800-Flowers.com. Right now, when you order a dozen multicolored roses for only $29.99, you'll get another dozen absolutely free. To order, go to 1-800-Flowers.com/ESPN. So we've been trying to figure out why they settled on the number that they did for the Bills to send that number of wings to the Bengals. This one, I think we had to get to. Mark wrote in, it's simple. When the Bills placed the order to send the wings and stuff to the Bengals, they had to stay under the salary cap.
Oh!
Do we have a rim shot?
We have a rim shot at all?
Well, let's just do this one. There you go.
That was well done. Tyler dove a little deeper.
You did?
Tyler went 1,440 wings equals 96, which is the total score of both games, times 15. That will be the Buffalo's 15th playoff win if they win. So 96 times 15 is actually 1,440.
First of all, I admire the effort.
Me too.
I admire the effort to think that thing through so logically. I respect that.
That's pretty good.
I don't think anybody in the Bills organization thought that.
No
but
shot.
I love the fact that he found a rational way to justify the number.
Agreed. We're still trying to get a hold of anyone with the Bills to try and give us any rational reason.
There has to be a reason. We're planting our flag on something. Speaking of trying to plant your flag somewhere, okay? We've been doing this since November 27th.
Not that long.
Well, years now. Years.
Yeah.
17, 18, we've been doing this for years.
Trying to get into a flow, and already someone wants to be.
One puts the gum in the works. He wants to put the sand in the oil.
Wants to put a stick in the spokes.
The fly in the ointment.
There you go.
And no better guy who is labeled fly in the ointment than Stugotz.
Yep.
This is what Stugotz had to say on his show yesterday, Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz.
He's definitely listened to some radio shows and has heard some kind of generic stuff that you're supposed to say, because he'll say, rolling on a Thursday. And it's just funny. It is laugh out loud funny in my car to hear Trey do this, to pick up on what other radio hosts are saying as transitions to moving on a Wednesday. And I want him to do it in a way that is so over the top that he's actually mocking it. But I haven't been able to get him there yet.
How is Trey Wingo receiving these phone calls or these texts from Stugotz telling Trey Wingo, polished broadcaster?
It's coaching, Dan, /sabotage.
Rolling along. You're angling for that job.
I don't know about that.
Well, you've been angling. There's been the whiff.
I never angled.
You're always. Guillermo, put it on the poll. Is Stugotz always angling?
I angle.
Yeah, rolling on through Stugotz's angling. We are moving through Stugotz's angling.
Stugotz talking about your transitions.
Yeah, by the way, he's wrong about one thing.
What's that?
Listening to other shows.
Yeah.
Just no.
No,
I like this show.
How different is this hosting than hosting NFL Live, a pure TV show?
Well, first of all, it's much more relaxed. Shaving optional.
Right.
Clothing, dress clothing optional. I'm wearing my snow boots because we had the storm in here, which is wonderful. It
is great. And this studio is so different than the other studio. So many people are like, gosh, could you give them guys a bigger studio like in Mike and Mike, this professional studio? No, I like this one.
This is very comfortable.
I don't have any pants on right now.
See, now you don't have. The myth was working.
Tell.
The myth was working that you were actually, you've broken the plane.
Yeah.
And now I got to roll on with that in my head.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead, do that.
No, I don't.
Moving on.
We are moving on from that. I can promise you that. By the way, didn't Stu, to show his loyalty to Le Batard, didn't he have to eat a photo of Le Batard?
He did it for my family because he wanted to be part of the Golic family as well.
How is eating a photo of the family showing loyalty to the family?
We printed out a picture of our family, and it was in color, and it was still damp.
Oh, it had stuff on it?
And he ate it.
Oh.
And the ink was still wet on it. And he ate it to show he wanted to be part of my family.
So if I can find myself to get inside Stugotz's head, which I concede, it's a place I never thought I would try to go. To show loyalty to someone, you want to provide an act of cannibalism against that family.
There you go.
Right? So you're saying, to be a part of this family, I'm going to devour you.
In Stugotz's world, that makes perfect sense.
I don't see how that works.
In Stu's world, it does. The best thing about Stu, in all honesty, what I want to see, I love what he does and the way he does it, is from the radio and TV side of it. I want to watch him coach his girls in lacrosse. He's a coach in lacrosse.
And he's a good lacrosse player.
He was a good lacrosse player, but he's gotten thrown out of tournaments.
Yeah, he can't do that.
He's gotten thrown out of tournaments for going after it with some of the refs out there. I want to watch him coach what are they, young teenagers
that
they're coaching? 13 and 14 years old.
I think there's something like that.
Yeah, no, he played lacrosse in college. He knows the game.
Yeah.
But I want to watch him coach.
Can we get a GoPro on him during the game?
Oh, it'd be awesome.
And get him mic'd up?
But it's got to be mic'd up.
Yeah.
Got to hear something.
The great thing about NFL films is you hear all this stuff that you never think you would hear, like Mark Sanchez doing the John Gruden impression to get Mitchell Trubisky fired up to play his hometown team, the Cleveland Browns. We need to get a GoPro and a mic'd up on Stugotz.
That's what I want to see. That's what I want to see.
Now, just as a show of barbaric pride, does he eat the photo of the opposing team?
I don't think so.
To devour that, to say, we are going to dominate you.
I think he ate a photo of my family, and I think to appease Dan, he ate a photo of Dan and Poppy and whoever.
That's not good.
It's not.
All right, coming up, 17 years since the Bills made the playoffs. We'll talk to their Hall of Fame wideout, Andre Reed, on what it means for the city. Maybe he knows why they sent 1,440 wings to the Bengals. Stay with us. Rolling on.